What is up, guys? I am Get Flinked, and what you're seeing on the screen there is us messing around with Alibi. She's one of the new defenders that's coming with Operation Para Bellum, and Ubisoft was nice enough to allow me to play her early and capture some of my gameplay at the Season 7 finals in Atlantic City. So what I'm going to do in this video, I'm going to show you guys her loadout, what all is available to her. I'll tell you guys how her gadget works, a basic understanding of that. I'll also tell you how she interacts with some of the operators as far as counters and stuff like that. And then finally, I'll give you my initial impressions. Now, do keep in mind that our playtime is limited at these events, so I don't have a extremely detailed breakdown of how everything's going to work. But with that said, I do believe I'll be able to give you a basic understanding of Alibi, and that way when you get your hands on her, you'll be able to hit the ground running and have a basic understanding of how she works. Now, before we get into her loadout and stuff, let me make just an overall statement right here about Alibi. She is extremely fun to play with. Like, really fun to play with. Something about her decoys, outsmarting opponents, and just getting kills with her is extremely satisfying. And with that said, let's get into her loadout and stuff, but I wanted to make that statement right off the get-go because more than anything, that's what jumps out to me about Alibi. She's really fun. Okay, so getting into the details here with Alibi, first of all, she's a 1 armor, 3 speed defending operator. She has 2 primary weapons available to her in her loadout. First of all, the SMG is the MX4 Storm. You can see the stats for that gun up on the screen right there. It has a damage of 26, a fire rate of 950, and a capacity of 30. So it's a pretty low damage, high fire rate weapon. If you're familiar with Valkyrie's MPX, this gun feels very similar. It has a little bit different recoil and a higher fire rate. I do consider this gun to be a little bit better than Valkyrie's MPX, but they feel pretty similar. If you're used to that MPX, then this gun will feel pretty similar to you. Her other primary is the ACS-12 shotgun, and this is pretty unique. It's an automatic high fire rate shotgun with a 30 round mag. Now, I didn't get to play with this a lot, but I can tell you from watching other people play with it that it will destroy walls in the blink of an eye.
Yeah, bro, you know what? Open that up.
Nice. Oh my god. Oh my god.
As far as her secondary options, kind of unique choices here. First of all, you have the Karatus 357. It's the high damage, low capacity revolver, so a damage of 78 there, and then a capacity of 6. Then the other option there is the Bailiff, and that is the shotgun secondary. It has a 410 shotgun round, and it does have some destruction. It's comparable to how like the Mira shotgun was before the buff, so it takes a while to do much with this as far as destruction, but it can open up some holes. It's just not going to open up rotation holes very well. And then as far as the gadget that's available to her, she has the impact grenades or the deployable shield, so she does have access to that coveted impact grenade. All in all, she has a pretty strong loadout. Okay, so now let's get into some gameplay clips. And I think this first clip you're going to see here is a good example of how her gadget works, how it can benefit you, how her gun looks and feels, and just overall a good impression of how Alibi is played. And pay attention, after I set her decoys out, you'll see that some pings and I get some point awards. That's when the enemies are shooting her decoys, and you'll see the pings pop up, very similar to how a Jackal ping looks, only it just lasts for a shorter period of time. So pay attention to that as we go along, and also pay attention to how her gun looks and feels.
Setting up a diversion. Playing my trump card.
Op 4 located a bomb. Be advised, Op 4 has located a bomb.
Got someone.
One friendly remaining. Mission critical, bomb diffuser activated. Diffuser located. Disable it.
Okay, so let's talk about Alibi's unique gadget, which is these decoys that she can throw out. The basic gist is that you have 3 of them. You can throw them down at any point in the round. You can throw all 3 down in the preparation phase if you want. There's no cooldown or anything. The direction that you throw them is the direction that they face. There's only one stance that these decoys take, and that is the standing up, looking down sights. That's the only option you have for how they will appear. Another couple notes as far as how they appear. Even if you're running the shotgun, the decoy is still going to have the SMG. It's also not going to have any sights on it. As far as the weapon skin, it's not going to show any weapon skins. As far as the operator uniform, it's not going to change at all. So the decoy doesn't necessarily reflect what you're doing. The decoy is always going to look exactly the same. So if you as Alibi are rocking a different uniform or weapon than the SMG, then the decoy is not going to match you. So keep that in mind. Now on the screen right now, you're going to see an example of what happens when you throw one of these decoys in a position where it can't actually work. And what you're seeing right there is it's flashing, and that's telling me, hey, this won't work right here. And I guess what it's doing is it's detecting its surroundings, saying that this isn't a location where it can stand upright and have enough room to do that. So that's good to know. Now, when the enemy sees one of these decoys, if they shoot it, if they drive a drone through it, or if they themselves walk through it, it will ping their location, very similar to a jackal ping. The difference between it and a jackal ping is, one, it refreshes much quicker as far as where their location is than a jackal ping, and also it doesn't last nearly as long as a jackal ping. One thing that's important to note is that if you or a teammate get too close to these decoys, it will make them disappear. So you can't actually stand inside of these decoys. You have to be an appropriate distance away from them, or else the decoy, the hologram, just disappears. So that's it as far as the absolute basics when it comes to her gadget. I'll give you my opinions on the strength of this and also some counters in just a second, but I want to mention another aspect of Alibi that is a passive ability that's really unique, and that is that when Alibi is one of the operators that the defenders have selected, if any of the defenders run outside, their operator icon is hidden. So they'll still be detected. Their location will still be revealed to the attackers when they run outside, but their actual operator icon will not. It'll just say identity unknown instead of showing their operator icon. So that's really unique. Not anything we've ever seen in this game before. It's passive. You don't really have to do anything in order to enable it. It's just always there as long as Alibi is part of the team. Okay, so now let's start talking about how to counter or destroy the Alibi decoys. First of all, any operator can destroy one by destroying the base. If you shoot the actual hologram and you get pinged, it does not actually destroy it. It will remain there. The only way of destroying one with a gun or with explosive damage is by destroying the base. There's a little strip. If you shoot it, that destroys it. As far as what the operators who counter Alibi are, there's really 4 that come to mind. First of all, Glass, because his thermal scope, when you look through it, the decoys don't light up, so you know it's a decoy when you're looking through the scope and you see one. Also, there's IQ, but really not very effective, because if your IQ, you locate it through a floor, you try to destroy that decoy. If you miss, you get pinged. It's really not that effective of a counter. And then there's Thatcher and Twitch. Twitch is probably the most effective counter to Alibi, because you drive your Twitch drone in, you shoot the base with the Twitch drone, and it destroys it. As far as how Thatcher interacts with the Alibi decoys, his EMP grenades will disable the decoys for 10 seconds, and then they pop right back up. Now, you'll notice on the screen right here, I throw an EMP and then actually get a kill on Alibi, but even though she is off the board, her decoys still work. They're going to pop back up here in just a couple more seconds. Now, again, on this clip, you're also going to see me throw another EMP, so you can see how that works again. Then you're going to see me purposely shoot one of the decoys, and that's what it looks like when you get pinged by one of them. And then you'll see me shoot a base and destroy one that way. So you'll get a lot in this clip as far as how you, as an enemy, interact with these decoys. Now, one thing I do want to mention, and I'm kicking myself right now, because I never actually tried shooting one of these decoys with a suppressor. So I'm not sure. Maybe it would be some kind of a buff to the suppressors if you shot one and it didn't ping you if you're using a suppressor. I can't answer that question. I don't know that for sure. So make sure you guys test that once you get your hands on them. Okay, so now let's get into some opinion stuff as far as Alibi goes. And let's first of all say, do I think that Alibi is going to be strong? Do I think she's a good operator? Well, she's a 3-speed with a good gun, a good high fire rate gun, not a great gun, but a high fire rate gun. She has impact grenades, and she has a gadget that can be useful. People are going to get creative with this gadget and are going to use it pretty effectively. I don't think that the gadget is extremely strong. I don't think the gadget's going to be extremely strong at the high levels, but I think for the average player, this gadget will present some problems. And I could see this gadget being used in situations like this. So you're roaming with Alibi, you're off site, you get droned out in a room, they're getting ready to try to pinch you, you throw out 2 decoys in that room, and now when they're pushing you to try to clear you out as a roamer, they're going to have to choose which one's which. And that split second of hesitation is what's really strong about Alibi's gadget. It creates hesitation. With that said, I don't think that Alibi's gadget is the strongest aspect to her. I think the strongest part of Alibi is the fact that she's a 3-speed with a good gun and impacts. We all know how strong Ella was, and it wasn't necessarily that Ella was strong because of her gadget. Even after they nerfed her round count, Ella was still strong. So I think that in a lot of ways you can kind of look at Alibi as a new Ella. The only difference is that she doesn't have a 50-round mag. I think that Alibi is more balanced at this point than Ella was upon release for sure. As far as how I see her being best used is as a roamer. And again, that situation that I mentioned with getting droned out and being able to use her decoys in that situation is what comes to mind as far as how she's going to be strong in my opinion. I'm sure people will get creative and find different ways to use her, but that's what initially comes to mind for me. I think that Alibi is going to be a great roamer and somebody that's going to be tough to deal with even if you drone effectively. Okay guys, that's going to do it for the video. I hope you guys have a better understanding of Alibi and how she works. I think the last thing I want to say is what I said in the beginning. Alibi is really fun to play and I cannot wait until you guys get your hands on them. Guys, I'm going to have a lot of Operation Para Bellum content coming your way over the next few days, so stay tuned. We're going to have the new map, we're going to have some Maestro stuff, so definitely can't wait to get that out to you guys. If you enjoyed this, please make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll have more coming your way here soon.